ただ一人行くのみ、一人戦い続けるのみ。
We are excited for the Street Fighter 6 game that will unfold next year. As a community that loves and cherishes the characters, we feel it's right for us to give you an idea on the timeline and story of each of these icons. Follow the events of Akuma, from his first Street Fighter appearance to his current one. What happened to Akuma? What mysteries lie within his training? This is part 1 of Akuma's timeline. Welcome to the Street Fighterverse. Before we start our video, if you like The Matrix, Cowboy Bebop, and other sci-fi themes, we want to welcome you to the Cypunk feed, our new YouTube channel that covers all types of cyberpunk, sci-fi themes that you might enjoy. Subscribe and join us. As fandom states, the brothers Akuma and Goken were students of Gotetsu. Gotetsu's martial art is a life-threatening pursuit that incorporates diverse martial arts into its execution. He also taught Shun Gokusatsu, a lethal technique which, though extremely powerful, puts its practitioner in substantial danger. It is said that under Gotetsu's teachings, the brothers debated the true nature and path to mastering their fighting style. Goken, unable to accept the violent nature and the Satsui no Hado of his fighting style, left Gotetsu to begin his own dojo, which Gotetsu did not oppose. Akuma continued Gotetsu's teachings and vowed to use their fighting style as it was intended. He relinquished all empathy to the principle of Satsui no Hado in order to gain knowledge of Shun Gokusatsu. Further, Akuma realized his limit as a martial artist could be expanded, so he left Gotetsu's guidance of enlightenment to train alone to gain more power. In contrast to Gotetsu, who had been able to use the Satsui no Hado without indulging in its dark side, he developed a lust for combat as a result of embracing the Satsui no Hado fully. When Akuma came back, he entered a death match with Gotetsu to prove his superiority. The Shun Gokusatsu was used by Akuma to kill his master. The master, happy to see his student surpass him, died, and Akuma placed the prayer beads of his dead master around his neck, believing he was the true master. Goken came to visit his former master to see how he was doing, only to find his lifeless body and his brother, now no longer human. The shocked Goken, seeing that Akuma had killed their master, confronted him, but Akuma said nothing and left for the woods. Akuma confronted Goken many years later. He told Goken that he was not strong enough to face him without giving in to the killing intent. A retort from Goken accused Akuma of dishonoring his master by showing disrespect to his art, which he explained was much more than death and destruction. Akuma explained to his brother that Gotetsu did not fully comprehend the Satsui no Hado, and that he was a fool for not using it. A fight ensued, and Goken prevailed. Akuma instructed his brother to kill him, but Goken had no intention of murdering his own family, which caused Akuma to call his brother weak for sparing the life of a powerful opponent, and told him that he would return. Several years later, it is said that Akuma returned to Goken's dojo and fought him. Using the Shun Gokusatsu, Goken had somehow lost his soul during the attack and survived in a coma, but Akuma believed him dead. Ken saw the flash of the attack while running to the dojo, but arrived only to find Goken on the floor. Akuma was in the woods when Ken confronted him and fought him. When Ken was defeated, Akuma disappeared. In search of worthy opponents, Akuma begins searching the globe. Secluding himself in the shadows, he watches small tournaments and street fights, desperately seeking someone who might be able to match his strength. He then is challenged by a man named Gen. Gen fights a vicious battle, even surviving the Shun Gokusatsu by emptying his soul in time. The moment Akuma begins to wonder if this man is the worthy opponent he is searching for, he senses something is amiss. Akuma's suspicions are confirmed when Gen's mouth bleeds. The competitor is ill, making the match unfair. Gen tells Akuma to kill him after being knocked to the ground. As Akuma can no longer stand the battle any longer, he leaves angering Gen. After the battle, Akuma becomes obsessed with Ryu, trying to awaken the Satsui no Hado within him. Eventually, Ryu finds Akuma's island and challenges him. While Akuma merely tested Ryu, Ryu eventually won the battle. Akuma regains composure and tells Ryu to find him again once he has embraced the Satsui no Hado, before striking the ground with a powerful blow and disappearing. Ryu lies in the ocean as the island collapses around him. He contemplates Akuma's words. As he leaves his destroyed home, Akuma remembers all the fighters he had faced and wonders with anticipation if one day he will encounter someone strong enough to kill him. He finds a desolate cavern and begins to train, looking forward to the day he will face Ryu again. At some point, he defeats and kills a Muay Thai fighter. Adon sees this as a challenge and sets out to find Akuma, to fight him and prove that he is stronger. In his ending, He comes to the realization that worthy opponents have challenged him during his journey. He decides that he could stay on Earth to perfect his killing power, knowing that they are opponents that Akuma can consider worthy. While thinking about the opponents he challenged, there are visions of Gen, M. Bison, and Ryu on the moon. He then comments that he will be the next to die. While waiting for Ryu to embrace the Satsui no Hado, Akuma wanders the globe in search of worthy opposition. He is confronted by Adon, who wishes to establish his fighting style as supreme. Akuma easily wins, but instead of killing Adon, he just leaves, apparently deeming his defeated foe as unworthy. Sometime later, Akuma is intercepted by Guy, who refuses to allow him to see M. Bison. Akuma ignores Guy's pleas and engages him in combat. The two then decide to end the fight after they realize their primary objective was the same, defeating M. Bison. He then confronts Bison, who tells Akuma that he won't be able to defeat him as long as the psycho drive exists. Akuma berates the dictator for not relying solely upon his fists, and they fight. As Akuma emerges victorious, he completely terminates Bison with the Raging Demon, causing him to suffer horribly as the attacks kill him. In his ending, Akuma is then challenged by Gen once more, and they fight a second battle, the results of which are unknown. Ryu rejected the Satsui no Hado during his own battle with the Shadowloo leader, M. Bison, declaring that a true warrior does not rely on violent intent. In Super Street Fighter II Turbo, it is said that Akuma did not officially enter the second World Warrior Tournament, but did monitor the event that took place in hope of finding an adequate challenge. He also challenged Bison, though whether or not Bison accepted his challenge, and if the result of the fight, if the former did happen, is left ambiguous. Akuma then is left as multiple participants engaged Bison. In a non-canon event, he ambushed the host, M. Bison, and made short work of him with the Shun Gokusatsu. Bison is obliterated in an instant. Akuma then engages in combat with the second finalist, but the identity of this warrior, as well as the outcome of the bout, remains unknown. In both the original Super Street Fighter II Turbo and its HD remake, Akuma has two different endings, depending on who the final opponent is. If it's M. Bison, Akuma will muse on the fact that he did not master the Psycho power and let it control him. If it's Shin Akuma, he will reflect on his victory over his own darkness and consider death beneath him. Super Street Fighter II Turbo Revival combines both endings into a whole one, while Ultra removes the second ending, thus causing the first ending to always play regardless of if Akuma beats M. Bison or Shin Akuma. In Street Fighter IV, sometime before the Third World Warrior Tournament, Ryu and Akuma would duel, with Akuma dominating the fight. As he rebukes Ryu about his rejection of the Dark Hado, Ryu finds the strength to recover and fight back. However, Ken would interrupt the fight, forcing Akuma to leave. During the events of Seth's tournament, he continues his training and senses the Satsui no Hado re-emerging within Ryu. Immediately, he sets off to find Ryu and help him realize this power so he can try to kill him in battle. Like other tournaments, Akuma does not officially enter, but stays in the shadows. Later, he finds an unconscious Ryu in the care of his brother Goken. Akuma noticed that his brother had perfected the power of nothingness. The two brothers fought, with Ryu being the prize. Both survived their fight, and Ryu was saved by Goken. Akuma then continued his training and his search for a worthy opponent to match his own, raising an entire forest with his power. In Alina's ending, in Ultra Street Fighter IV, she is shown to have befriended him in one of her flashbacks. In Onyx's intro, his roar echoes through the night. Instantly after, his presence causes the explosion of a nearby tree and the death of a bird. He then looks up and proclaims that he is evil incarnate. In his ending, he stands in the center of a volcano. Then he only jumps up and chops the ground with his hand, resulting in an instant eruption that engulfs him in lava. As the lava explodes out of the volcano, Oni flies out of it unharmed, laughing manically and yelling ferociously. In Street Fighter V Prologue, Muro Tensho. In Akuma's story, he and Gen fight once again. Akuma becomes victorious in the battle, but was criticized by Gen for leading to the path of discarding humanity. He then finishes and seemingly kills Gen off for good. He then sees a vision of Ryu rejecting the Satsui no Hado, much to his frustration. Nikali appears and challenges Akuma for her soul. Not only did Nikali lose to Akuma, but he attempts to devour Akuma, and Akuma does the Muro Tensho to escape Nikali's stomach. He then seeks Ryu and battles him. In a Satsui no Hado vs Munoken clash, Akuma defeats Ryu in battle, but does not kill him. Instead, he questions if there is no one that can match him. Ryu, smiling while lying on the ground, asks questions to Akuma, claiming that his fists will continue to communicate with Akuma on opposite ends. Akuma then flees, letting fate determine when those two will meet again. Akuma appears in Kage's character story, which took place prior to encountering Nekali, after realizing Ryu's rejection from the Satsui during a Shadow Falls episode. After Kage went after Sagat, Akuma is the said Shadow Demon's next target to prove his former host Ryu is nothing without him. Akuma considers Kage as nothing more than a soulless silhouette of his former host. Just as Kage mockingly claims he kept part of him at bay because of his beliefs in laws of heaven, a nearly beaten Akuma mocks Kage for not understanding anything aside from only strength and fighting endlessly. Akuma then uses a Hoten Seiken Geki to make Kage disappear from him, and wonders if Kage is the path which Ryu has truly chosen. In Street Fighter III Second Impact, like in the 3rd World Warrior Tournament, Akuma did not enter the 4th World Warrior Tournament, but once again lurked in the shadows. Akuma easily defeated Sean, who mistook him for Ryu. However, he did not realize that Gil had risen from the dead when he pulled off a Shungoku Satsu on him. He then faces Ryu, asking him to show him his full power, but Ryu replies that malicious intent is not the way of the warrior. In this game, he appears as a secret boss, using the raging demon on whoever the player is facing. He battles the player afterwards. If Akuma is felled, the scenery will darken, the ground will shake, and he will get back up and unleash his true power for a second fight. Akuma trained relentlessly over this period of time, harnessing his power and learning several new attacks. Some were meant to create tidal waves, others were described as powerful enough to split Uluru, Ayer's Rock, in half, and one could kill an opponent with a single blow. Kongo Konguretsu-san is a technique taught by Akuma himself, in which he channels all his power into one hand and smashes it into the ground, creating a vortex of energy upward around him. According to legend, this technique was used to destroy his original training ground, the Onigami Isle Gwendo. It is also said that the same technique can cause the earth itself to crumble beneath him. In Street Fighter III Third Strike, despite his now incredible fighting skills, Akuma even fought with Oro in a simple, inconclusive battle, sensing each other's enormous ki and testing their abilities. Both men were impressed by each other's power, but they held some contempt for each other on a personal level. The episode also reveals that Akuma is now able to remain underwater, under massive pressure, and even destroy the sunken remains of a modern inner ship with his Tensho Kaireki Jing technique. Akuma's legacy to push boundaries of inner power and display it in the battle arena is what makes this character so amazing. Personally, I can't wait to see Akuma in action in Street Fighter VI. The Dark Hado Master himself has secrets in his name that fills the very existence of its personality. We have shown the other side of the mysterious character from the Street Fighterverse. So what do you think Akuma's story will be in Street Fighter VI? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. This has been your Street Fighter host. Welcome to the center stage. Discord server. There you can talk with us, chat about current events going on in Street Fighter, information, theories, and lore. We'll leave the link in the description box below. We want to thank everyone for tuning in and becoming part of this Street Fighter community. We want to thank you for your positive comments towards our channel, because it only habilitates us to grow even more. From the Street Fighterverse crew, we thank you.